What is up, you guys? It is your boy HamzaConnection coming at you live, and welcome to the Journey podcast. So basically, this one is going to be how I optimize my YouTube process about making these podcasts. Because if you remember from episode 1, I sort of just went in and just took a lot of action without knowing a lot of things. So basically, I don't know how many podcast episodes I made, maybe 10, 12-ish now. And I have been doing it sort of the hard way. And it's time to start optimizing my process. And this is amazing because I started now after I made 10 episodes. And the thing here is, if I'd have started way before, I would have been like, oh shit, I need to do this, and I need to do this, and I need to do that. And I would have been procrastinating, researching a bunch of these things. But now, I'm going to start optimizing some of the things. And I also got some tips from some friends of mine, some viewers, about how to like, hey, you should do this and stuff like that. And from now on, I'm going to be making the keywords, for instance, for ranking the videos. One of my friends who also makes YouTube videos, he showed me a way to make default keywords. And usually I'm like, I like making the podcast episode. I love talking about these topics, but the keyword part of it and stuff like that, it's cool. I've done SEO before, but I didn't really take it that seriously on YouTube, because I was like, yeah, let me just do these keywords, because I don't want to make a ton of keyword research and stuff like that. Because yeah, people like your content, they're gonna subscribe and they're gonna be notified, and then the keywords not gonna matter that much. But still, keywords, no, actually, I take that back. Keywords matters a lot, but I'm just lazy because I'm doing this for fun and not so much for getting a shit ton of views. Although I do want to end up at some point having a lot of views, but right now it's for fun and trying to help you guys out with sharing some of my journey. And basically, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making a template for the keywords, a default template. On YouTube, you can sort of do that thing. So whenever I upload a YouTube video, for instance, like this one, it will have a default keywords. And then I'll only have to add the minor ones compared to the, like, for instance, the topic at hand right now. I can also even make it so, if you remember from my first podcast episode, I wrote the power of getting started, and then I did I don't know what you call it, a hyphen or something. Basically, yeah, a hyphen. Oh, maybe, yeah, you can go look back and then see how the title is structured there. And then it's that podcast episode 1, basically. And right now, I'm not doing that podcast episode 1 and then 2 and then 3. I'm just giving you guys the title. Maybe I'm gonna mess around with that and be like, hey, do I really want to have the podcast number episode? Because it would be kind of cool to sort of reach a 50, or actually what I had in mind, 100. That would be kind of cool to reach like 100 episodes of this podcast thing. I didn't see, because that would be pretty dope, actually. So maybe I need to do that. I haven't decided yet on that, but on YouTube you can actually make a default title. So whenever you upload, I'm learning so many new things. So whenever you upload, it will default have a certain title in it, and then you can just edit it from video to video, and also like captions and settings for your video. And this whole new world that I've been neglecting and just started making YouTube videos. But the most important part, I think, about the process is just to get started. It's just to get started. And funny enough, the first episode that I have, it has way more views than all the other. Speaking from now, maybe that will change. I don't know, but it's quite funny. So I'm super glad I started it. The other ones, yeah, they don't have any views, or they don't have that many views at this point in time. A lot of the episodes that I do have 0 views, and that's all right, because I'm gonna keep on going, and then build up a bulk of a lot of videos and stuff like that, and hopefully provide a lot of value for you guys. But that's basically kind of like the update and some tips and tricks, and also this specifically for YouTube. But also this just goes to show you, because I also like to take it on a broader scale, that you can do a work process, but sometimes you also have to think about the work process, because a lot of the times it's just repeating the same thing. And the problem here is if you don't optimize that, you're going to be doing it inefficiently all the time. And this is where you have to strike the balance I also want to talk to you about. Because this one is also about structuring the balance. Because if I would have gone too much on the other side and tried to optimize the process way too much without having done it, I would have failed. Because I would have procrastinated, I wouldn't have uploaded the YouTube video and all of that stuff. In my experience, it is way better to just get started and then figure it out along the way. Now, there are some scenarios where that doesn't work, and you're probably going to say, but I'm sorry, it wouldn't work in this scenario. But seriously, at the end, it will all pan itself out. At the end, I believe it will all be good, and you will figure it out along the way, and you will achieve massive success. And right now, there are a lot of things that I've figured out along the way. For instance, right now, as I'm recording this podcast episode, make sure you put your phone in airplane mode. Those are the things that I would not have thought about. And I'm really happy that I just got started and did that episode right now, because think about it. Let's say I would have gotten to a certain point, like I would have been like, I had a famous person in here and stuff like that, and we did a podcast episode together, and I would have messed up the recording because somebody called me, and then, yeah, that would have been like, shit. So it's good that I messed up now, where I don't have that crazy amount of views yet, and not so many people can see my failures. But, well, the whole point of it is actually also that so you guys can see some of my failures and stuff like that. Or hopefully I'm good at editing that out. But no, so far I have actually shot it in one shot. And then just talk to you guys. Because I'm not doing that much editing, because I want it to be more authentic. But basically, this is also a point for you to take away, is to figure out what kind of style you want. What kind of style you want. So I just wanted to do podcast episode of things I thought could bring value to you guys, which have brought, for instance, value to me. So I'm sort of doing it on the cuff and talk about it. Obviously, I think about it once in my head, and I'm like, I know just what to say, and then I talk about the topic. And that is basically the structure for that. So a good way, if you want to make content on YouTube and how to structure your content, stuff like that, is actually to very simply think ahead. How do you want it to sort of look? What sort of style do you want it to look? And I'm not saying that you should be like, I need to have an intro that's 30 seconds long and I need to have this. You can do that. If you like to be more structured, you can go ahead and do that. If you're more like me and are less structured when it comes to this, because I'm more searching for that authentic thing, then you probably should maybe structure it a little bit like I learned how to do, because I have so many ideas for podcast episodes and I tend to forget them. So now I realize that, hey, I need to write that shit down. So from now on, whenever I have an idea, I have this app called Evernote, and you can use any app you like. I just like this one, where I write down podcast idea. So I have a little notebook which says podcast, and then I write down, I have a note that's called podcast ideas. And I have a template as well for keywords and stuff like that. But basically, then you write down all your ideas, and sometimes I look at the ideas and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good one. I feel like talking about that one today. And it's all, I go how I feel. Like, do I want to talk about this? Do I want to talk about this business and stuff like that? And maybe that, like, because you have to also know why you're doing it. And I'm more doing this because I want to share some of these things and share the process with you guys. about, hey, this is me making a podcast, and maybe one day I can look back at this and be like, whoa, shit, that was the process there, and whoa, I learned so much along the way and stuff like that. So that would be kind of cool. But basically, this is the process. So you realize what you want to, how you want to structure it, and pitfalls and stuff like that. Like I said, write down your ideas. And then know what is it that you want to deliver. What is it that you want to like do? For me, it's this talking. It's this on the cuff, authentic talking, which just flows through my mind. I'm not scripting anything. I'm just talking. I'm just talking. And this is where you have to know your strength. Because right now, I'm being very self-aware because I'm talking about this, about talking. I'm being very self-aware of what I'm saying. But usually, I'm not that self-aware, and I can just go on and on and on and on and on about talking about things. And some people can't do that. And that is sometimes where they're not strong. And that means that they basically have to bet on something else. Because maybe not everyone can just keep talking. Then probably you should keep a script or do keywords and stuff like that. It all depends on you. For instance, I didn't want to do like a shit ton of editing and stuff like that. Not at the moment right now because I'm focused on other things. But maybe I'll turn this podcast into vlogs and stuff like that. Maybe take you behind the scenes of when I'm starting a business or something like that. And then you can sort of see like the workday, what I do and all of that stuff. And yeah, maybe I'll do that at some point. And that's actually a good idea. So for instance, for that, I would basically take my phone and then write that down and be like, hey, maybe do a vlog like this. And then I write down the ideas and organize it and pick whichever I feel like I want to pick. Because I remember the why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because it's fun to share things to other people. It's fun to share this. And for me, I'm like, it's just the act of sharing. Because yeah, if you notice right now in this moment of time, I don't have a lot of views. I actually, in some podcast episodes, I have 0 views. It's actually the first one that's gotten a couple of thousand, but that's cool. But other than that, nope, no views. So, for me, it's just the act of sharing. So know why you're doing it. So if you want to structure your content and all that stuff, also know what you're doing it for. Like, what is it that you want? Do you have an end goal in mind and all of that stuff? And I have actually a good a podcast episode about how to set goals, so you can go check that one out if you like. But basically, this is the thing. Structure your content. Know where you want it to go. What sort of thing do you want to deliver and all that stuff? Write down your ideas and find an optimal process. So for me, it's very optimal that I don't have to do the keywords over and over again for each and every single video, because there are some general keywords that I use, and then I only have to tweak some of them. And now I know YouTube has a template. You can do that. Boom. The description, if you notice, the follow, HamzaConnection, and the link and all that stuff, that's going to remain the same. I have a template. I copy paste it every time I upload a video. And actually, no, I don't copy paste. I used to do that. Now I have to remember the new method. Now I made a setting in YouTube, so it's always at the bottom where it says follow HamzaConnection, etc., and then the YouTube and the Instagram link. Which reminds me, I never tell you guys that I have a Facebook or Instagram, so obviously that link's going to be put down below automatically by YouTube now because I made that the default template, which saves me a lot of time. So go ahead and check my Instagram out and add me on Facebook if you like to ask more like questions and all that stuff. And yeah, also just add me as a friend if you want to chat and stuff like that, or you want to do a collab on a blog, or you have an interesting topic and all this that I could interview you. That would also be super interesting. Maybe a limited time offer right now, I would say, because I don't know if I will be doing this forever, so I have to remember to say that in the video, which I just did. But basically, that's it. That's how I sort of attacked, how I structured my content, how I went about it, and all of that stuff. And we're gonna see. I will definitely find out way more about things. And I also planned it out to be like, hey, okay, now I learned this. Now while I'm making this podcast episode and all this stuff and editing it and all of that stuff, I also found a very easy way to edit it and a very easy structure to some of the templates and the background images that I do, because I'm not a crazy well designed things. And I did want to have different thumbnails for every single videos instead of having the same thumbnail. I was like, nah, it kind of sucks to have the same thumbnail. And maybe I'll change my mind and then actually, so because then you don't have to design every single thing, and it becomes more about the content. But for now, I find it super fun to design all of these different content and logos and all that stuff, and it's quite quick and all that stuff, and I find it engaging. And maybe I will improve at it in the future. We'll see, but who knows? But still, this is the main point as well from the first podcast episode. You don't have to know everything. The most important thing is that you get started. That is super, super important. And oh, by the way, I have a real life example of this as well, and why it's a good way to go about this. In the first podcast episode, I talk about I wanted to start a podcast with my friend, right? You may be mistaken that this YouTube thing that's going on right now is with my friend, but I'm actually doing this alone because we never found the time to do the podcast episodes. So I started one of my own. And you can see that if I were to do it with my friend or wait and not just get started, I wouldn't have released these 10, 14, 12, I don't know how many I've released by now, but 10, 14, 12 episodes of the podcast. I would still be at 0. So this is also the power of taking action. So also structure, how do you structure your YouTube content? A good advice would be taking action. Actually get it recorded, do this, do a bunch of failures. Because you will learn on the way. And as soon as you get rid of those newbie mistakes and all of that stuff, obviously professional also makes mistakes, but as soon as you get rid of most of the mistakes that you can do, you find a good process, you find all of this stuff, and it's easy, and it's super fun, and enjoyable, and all of that stuff. And then, just going to be in flow. So, this was the podcast episode for today. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you haven't already, click the subscribe button and hit the like button and let me know how you structure your YouTube episode. If you are episodes of YouTube's, that's not a thing. I mean YouTube videos. If you do any, let me know how you structure those. Leave that in the comment below. I'm always open for tips and tricks. So yeah, it was one of my views that told me, hey, you can do this. And I'm learning from you guys just as you hopefully are learning from me. So, peace.